Hello, Lancers. Thank you for checking out this video. My name is Chris McPeak, and I'm the Director of Operations here at the Pasadena City College Foundation. In this role, I run the scholarship program for PCC, which is exactly what you're here for today. Am I correct? What I'll be covering in this workshop is the actual application on Blackbaud Award Management, general timelines for the various scholarship cycles, how financial aid plays a role in this because they are heavily involved, and I will explain how you're evaluated, and finally, we're going to do some tips on getting references and writing personal statements. Are you ready? Let's do this. I will say in the 6 years that I've been here, there's a number of reasons that students don't apply for scholarships, and in my opinion, these are really silly. People think that applying for scholarships takes too much time and they're not good writers. People think that scholarships are only for 4.0 students. They believe that if they didn't file for a FAFSA, they don't qualify. I'm too young to do this, I don't have enough experience, I'm too old for this, nobody's going to give me any money. I'm afraid to ask for a reference. Well, guess what? You are going to be asking for references for the rest of your lives, so you need to learn how to do it, and what better reason than applying for a scholarship? How many of you can honestly raise your hand and say, I have plenty of financial aid, so I don't need a scholarship? Chances are not very many of you, and that's why you're here, right? You want to help paying for school, and the PCC Foundation can help you. So what exactly is Blackbaud Award Management? This is the software formerly known as Academic Works. We contracted with Academic Works back in 2013. In 2016, they were acquired by Blackbaud, who also happens to have the fundraising and accounting software that we use here, Razor's Edge and Financial Edge. So, Academic Works is now Blackbaud Award Management. It houses the application, review process, the awarding process, and the post-acceptance process. So students like yourselves only need to go to one place on campus to take care of your scholarship needs. Every scholarship that's held at the foundation, meaning the money is here at PCC, are represented in Blackbaud Award Management. You can technically apply for scholarships year-round. I don't ever close the general application, although I can, and someday we might, but not now. We do have 2 set cycles during every fiscal year. So let's talk cycles first. A cycle basically is when a group of scholarships are open for applications and review, and it covers a set period of time. The fall cycle, also known as the general scholarship application, usually opens in July and closes the first or second week of October. Students are notified in November, and then we have a big celebration in December. The spring cycle is decentralized, meaning that the academic departments and various divisions kind of do their own thing. Scholarships for the spring term may open as early as November or as late as April. Generally speaking, spring scholarships are awarded between April and early June. My advice here is to start checking for new opportunities in early November and then check back every week or so through spring break. There are 3 kinds of scholarship opportunities: auto-match, apply to, and external. An auto-match scholarship requires just the general application. So once you complete that, you are automatically matched to anything you qualify for. An apply to opportunity requires additional information. So you might need to add a resume, do another writing piece, get a letter of reference. You have to apply to each specific scholarship in addition to the general application. External opportunities are scholarships that are run by organizations outside of PCC. Every year or so, constantly, month to month, we get requests from law firms, from other nonprofits, from businesses and companies that have scholarship money, and they want us to promote their award. So I'll show you in a little while what that looks like in the system, but those opportunities are not held at the foundation. We share the details with you. Post-acceptance is what you will do in Blackbaud Award Management after you accept your scholarship. It's a process that prompts you to upload a thank you letter, submit testimonials, and provide feedback on the process. And because we now use post-acceptance to communicate with our donors, we also require that you add a photo so donors can put a name to the face. Finally, the user role is how you access the system. All of you are applicants. There are system administrators like myself. Opportunity administrators are the chairs of the spring cycle, and they are folks that do reviews for us. They read your applications, they score them, and then we have references who provide those letters and reference information for your scholarships. I hold 3 different roles because I'm a system administrator, I'm a reviewer, and I might also be a reference. So to get started, go to pasadena.academicworks.com. You can find this on the Foundation website. If you just do a search on the PCC website for foundation or scholarship, you should land on this page. It's technically an external link, so it's not part of pasadena.edu, but you can get to it from the PCC website, no problem. We have a single sign-on, so you'll use your Lancer Point credentials. You go in, review the application questions, and then you'll want to do some reflecting, some reviewing, some research. What scholarships outside of the general application do you want to apply for? Are they going to require reference letters? Let's start thinking of the personal statement. These are all things that you'll be doing when you get started with the application. There are two sets of data that we depend on to evaluate your application: self-report and Lancer Point imported. The self-report section features many of the questions you are going to answer in the general application. It features things like your name and your student number, of course, your phone number. We want your personal permanent email address, like a Yahoo or a Gmail. And then we ask other questions that pertain to various student demographics. The second chunk of data that we pull is directly from Lancer Point. This is how we get the most up-to-date version of your grade point, units enrolled, units completed, the program of study, and so forth. This part of the application is where we discuss your outside the classroom activities. The three main sections are honors and awards, clubs and organizations, and service/employment activities. Honors and awards basically cover ways that you have been rewarded for doing cool stuff, like leadership awards, academic awards, and other scholarships. Clubs and organizations cover all the things you may be involved with outside of the classroom, including, but not limited to, athletics, student government, clubs, volunteer work, and on-campus jobs. Finally, service and employment activities are all the organized things you do outside of Pasadena City College. Do you have a job? List that in this section. Do you volunteer locally or at your church? List that here as well. However, this is not the place to talk about your hobbies. Start simply at pasadena.academicworks.com. You can find this page by going to the site directly or go to www.pasadena.edu/foundation. When you get to that main page, make sure you are on the tab for applicants and administrators, and you'll be logging in with your Lancer Point credentials. In this slide, you can see the beginning of the application. Required questions are marked with an asterisk. But the most important point in this slide are the two buttons that are at the bottom: Save and Keep Editing, and Finish and Submit. You can hit either button to save your work. However, you are not applied to anything in this system until you hit Finish and Submit. This is not a hard submit. You can go back all you want and make changes until the due date. But if you don't hit Finish and Submit, you will never officially be matched to anything. When you complete your general application, you will be redirected to this page. If you hover over the word Opportunities at the top in the black ribbon, you will see three options: Hours, O-U-R-S, Recommended, and External. Hours are just the scholarships that you can be matched to through the general application. No further action is needed. Recommended opportunities are all the opportunities that are part of the Apply To category. You can just hit the red button to apply. Remember though, you aren't applied to anything if you don't hit the Finish and Submit button at the end. That's the red button on the bottom. External scholarships are from agencies and offices that are not a part of PCC. These folks just want to market their scholarships on our sites. There are dozens of opportunities there, so I recommend you take a peek and see if there's anything you might qualify for. Here's just one example of an Apply To opportunity. Here, the scholarship requires a resume, a reference letter, and an additional writing sample. Notice again the two buttons on the bottom. Make sure you hit Finish and Submit to be fully applied to this scholarship opportunity. Obviously, I cannot say this point enough. For the general scholarship application during the fall semester, you are evaluated in three areas. Your personal statement gets the most weight at 25 points. Grade point average receives up to 20 points. This is on a sliding scale and is completely objective. 20 points would be assigned to a 4.0 GPA, 19 points for a 3.9, and on down. Honors and awards, clubs and organizations, and employment and service can receive up to 5 points each. After you're selected for a scholarship, you will receive an email indicating that you are being offered a scholarship. Congratulations, big timer. You will have a short amount of time, about 5 days, to complete the post-acceptance process. This includes writing a thank you letter, uploading a photo, and submitting a testimonial. These 3 portions of post-acceptance are required. You will receive your money through Lancer Point and Bank Mobile. More on that later. What you do need to keep in mind is that some scholarships are prorated. So if you are not a full-time student, you will receive less than the scholarship offered. And if you owe a balance to the college, your scholarship may be offset. This happens more often than you might think, so it's a good idea to always be aware of your student account balance. If you get federal aid of any kind, this is important information to understand related to scholarships. When you send your FAFSA data to Pasadena City College, financial aid creates what is called your educational budget. This is what PCC has determined it will cost for you to go to school here. It includes fees, books, supplies, transportation, housing, and so forth. Your EFC, estimated family contribution, is the dollar amount that the federal government believes your family can afford to support your education. When you subtract your EFC from your educational budget, you get unmet need. Title IV of the Education Act of 1965 does not allow for students to benefit financially from financial aid, meaning that you should not make money by being a student. So once your unmet need has been satisfied, you are no longer eligible for financial aid or scholarships. So even if you're the top student for a specific scholarship, if you don't have any unmet need, you can't receive that award. But these rules only apply to students receiving federal aid. So if you don't have a FAFSA on record, then this would not apply to your scholarship situation. Stay apprised of your unmet need and all your financial aid awards. Pasadena City College has partnered with Bank Mobile to deliver refunds of financial aid and scholarships. Once your balance has been covered, any financial aid you have remaining for that term or this disbursement period will be reimbursed to you. It's definitely in your best interest to sign up with Bank Mobile and select either direct deposit to your own bank account or create a Bank Mobile Vibe checking account. This is the best way to receive your financial aid and scholarships. Scholarships are reimbursed according to a set schedule that is created by Financial Aid and Fiscal Services. I will send a scholarship disbursement request to financial aid on a Monday or a Tuesday. The disbursement happens usually on Thursdays. Fiscal Services will process refunds on the following Tuesday, and funds are wired to Bank Mobile on Friday. If you have Vibe, you will receive your funds the exact same day. ACH direct deposits usually will post to your account on the next business day. The first thing to remember about references is that you need to ask for them. Do not ever assume that a faculty member or staff member has the time to do this for you. Take the time to talk to them in person and ask them. The same thing applies if you are asking an employer or other professional to do this for you. They are doing you a favor. Don't forget that. Once they say yes, then you will explain the process. You enter the faculty name and email address into Blackbaud Award Management. Once you hit Finish and Submit, the system will generate an automatic email to the reference. That person is then prompted to create a reference account and upload their letter. You should not ever be given a reference letter to upload on your own. The reference provider may also be answering a reference questionnaire in which no letter is needed. And please remember, all references are due the same day as the scholarship application. I see the personal statement as a 3-tiered process: preparing to write, writing, and getting feedback. These reflection questions will help you prepare to write a well-balanced statement that will set you up for success. When you feel like you're ready to write, open a Word document or a Google Doc and get started. Make sure you follow the prompt and use these tips as you tell your story. It really helps to have an engaging opening, something that is visual and really tells a story. Points 8 and 9 on this slide are what I consider the 3rd tier. This is getting feedback. It might sound strange, but if you print your statement out and read it aloud to yourself, you are going to catch all sorts of little things. Once you've done that, give your printed statement to someone you love and trust and give them a chance to give you feedback as well. You will not be sorry after you do this. It's super helpful. Some of these may sound obvious, but I want to highlight point number 5 right here. I promise you that everyone who is reading scholarship applications understands and accepts that higher education is expensive and an investment. So please do not use any of your 500 words as a plea for financial assistance. What? That's the end? Yes, Janet Jackson fans, it totally is. But this final slide will give you the skinny on where to find me, Chris McPeak, if you have any questions about the scholarship process. Remember to check www.pasadena.edu/foundation and email me at kmmcpeak@pasadena.edu if you have any questions. Good luck, everyone. I hope you all receive scholarships this year.